how to invest in gold. But before that, let's start with the context of why do people buy and hold gold. The fundamental reason is because gold preserves its value during uncertain periods. You see, gold is not an income generating asset. However, its role acts as a diversifier and a safe haven asset. And for many people, the first exposure to gold is actually gold jewelry made of 916 gold. And it's very common to hear people say that buying gold jewelry is investing. But in reality, jewelry and investment gold serve very different purposes. Jewelry is designed to be worn and enjoyed, not to efficiently reflect the value of gold itself. On the other hand, investment grade gold focuses on purity, weight, and price exposure without the workmanship and retail markups. And recently, LionGlobal investors launched Singapore's first physical gold fund, where the gold is insured in Singapore and the allocated gold is securely vaulted in Singapore. In this video, I'll explain why gold is relevant, what this fund actually does, the trade-offs involved, and who may find it suitable. Quick disclosure, this video is sponsored by LionGlobal Investors, and I'll focus on explaining the product and the considerations around it so you can form your own view. Now, before talking about any product, I think it helps to understand why is gold even discussed at all. Now, a simple way to think about it is this. Some assets are designed for long-term growth, and some others are designed for value preservation. Gold has historically been viewed as a store of value, particularly during periods of uncertainty. It does not generate income, it does not rely on corporate earnings. Instead, gold has been used as a way to retain purchasing power over long periods, especially during times of currency weakness, market stress, and geopolitical uncertainty. That role has remained fairly constant over time, even as financial systems change. About the currency concentration and reserve diversification, you may have heard about countries diversifying away from relying too heavily on a single reserve currency. This does not imply a sudden collapse of any currency. What it reflects is a gradual process where central banks aim to spread risk across multiple reserve assets, including gold. Central banks typically operate with long time horizons and focus on stability rather than short-term performance. Their behavior helps to explain why gold continues to be held as a part of global reserves. Regarding market conditions and diversification, at times when asset valuations are elevated, future outcomes can be more uncertain. And in those environments, assets that behave differently from equities may help smooth overall portfolio outcomes over time. Historically, gold has tended to move differently from equities during periods of stress. This is why gold is often discussed in the context of diversification rather than return chasing. I think it is also important to regard gold as a form of insurance and not a growth engine. An analogy that many people may find it helpful is insurance. You see, when you buy insurance, it's not to generate returns. Insurance is purchased to reduce the impact of adverse events. So you see, gold is often viewed in a similar way. Its role is not really to outperform other assets every year, but to provide a measure of resilience when conditions change. With the context fully explained, let's talk about the LionGlobal Singapore Physical Gold Fund. This fund is fundamentally a unit trust backed by investment-grade physical gold bars that meet internationally recognized standards and high purity levels. The gold is safe kept in Singapore, a country that is globally recognized for its stability and safety. The gold is securely vaulted at a secure storage facility with 24/7 security. The allocated gold is insured to its full value against loss, theft, and damage. And the fund seeks to track as closely as possible before fees and expenses the performance of LBMA AM gold price. In practical terms, this structure provides exposure to physical gold without requiring individuals to manage storage, security, or insurance themselves. Now the important question, how to buy the LionGlobal Singapore Physical Gold Fund. This fund is available through various local platforms and partners as listed here. To be clear, there are SGD and USD denominated share classes, and you can refer to the specific ISIN codes here. On most platforms, minimum initial subscriptions start from 1,000 Singapore dollars or 1,000 US dollars, with subsequent investments from lower amounts. Ongoing management fees are around 0.4% per year for most classes. Some platforms apply a preliminary sales charge of up to 2%, but here's the deal. Other platforms like Poems and FSM1 offer 0% sales charge for online unit trust purchases. So this is where if you select the right platform, you can save some money. Also, Maribank being the anchor digital bank partner for this fund, has introduced a product, Mari Invest Gold, that allows entry with very small amounts starting from 1 Singapore dollars, with no sales charge but a slightly higher annual fee of 0.5% per annum. So this can help to reduce the barriers to entry for gold investors who may not want to commit a huge upfront amount and could do so seamlessly from the Mari Bank app. Moving on to the fees and common questions, because I know that some of you are concerned with the management fees, so let's address it. It is true that there are gold-related investment products globally with lower costs. Those alternatives may appeal to people whose primary focus is cost minimization. The LionGlobal Singapore Physical Gold Fund is positioned differently. The fees here reflect physical ownership rather than synthetic exposure, secure storage and custody in Singapore, full insurance coverage for allocated gold, and operation within the local regulatory framework familiar to us Singaporeans. So this is not designed as the cheapest possible way to track gold prices. It is designed around offering a peace of mind through jurisdiction, custody, and structural preferences, and these elements matter when safeguarding wealth. Whether that trade-off makes sense depends on what an individual truly values. Another common question, why not just hold physical gold directly? Well, that is another approach, but here's the thing. It usually involves higher minimums, separate custody arrangements, and less flexibility when buying or selling. And there are additional fees for secure storage. Either you store it in the vault or your physical safe at home. So there are different approaches that solves different problems, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Now let's talk about target audience, who this fund may be relevant for. I would say for those who want exposure to physical gold and prefer the gold to be securely stored in Singapore and value insurance coverage and institutional grade custody, and wants a convenient platform-based way to access physical gold without the hassle of handling bullion. So to be honest, this product may be less relevant for those who are focused mainly on minimizing costs or on personally holding bullion. Now, referring to this table provided by LionGlobal, if you want to compare different ways of investing in gold, the LionGlobal Singapore Physical Gold Fund will check all the boxes of having the storage in the safe jurisdiction, liquidity, accessible, and most importantly, secure and or insured. To summarize, there's no one best single way to hold gold. Different structures prioritize different things, be it cost, jurisdiction, custody, convenience, or accessibility. The LionGlobal Singapore Physical Gold Fund focuses on physical gold stored and insured in Singapore within a regulated structure. Gold itself is not about beating markets, it is about maintaining resilience when conditions change. If you want to explore further, check out the official links in the description. Take the time to read them and decide whether it really fits within your own broader context. Again, this entire presentation is for general information only and not financial advice. Always consider your own personal finance situation or seek professional advice before you invest in any financial products. And if you want to look at a previous LionGlobal product where I talk about the LionGlobal Short Duration Bond Fund, then you can refer to my previous video right here.